Welcome back. This isn't exactly the tool I had hoped for. This is the Goat Multi-Tool, and we're going to quickly take a look at what I like and don't like about this tool, and one huge reason why you should buy one. Now we're going to start by covering some very quick things on this, okay? Um, First and foremost, I think what everybody's going to like the most is the modularity, okay? Um, I have a knife on here. If I don't want it, I can quickly take it out and I have a file instead. I can put the file in there and boom, now I have the locking file, okay? And I can close it no problem, boom, okay? So I'm gonna take the knife out for now. And then just so you know, I also have the little hook that I bought in there, the full-size hook, but we'll skip over that. What else I like? I like the hammer side. So many other multi-tools have this part doing nothing. And I like that Goat Tools included that and made sure to keep it flat. Okay. I like when you open these pliers up, I like how thin those tips are. You can get into some small spaces. I like that the pliers are spring-loaded. I think that's nice on a light to medium duty plier. I like that all the implements are outside opening. I really like how the bit holder seems to be center aligned more or less in both dimensions. I also really like the size. It's about 4 1/8 inch long. And you can see that when we say banana for a scale. Please subscribe. Do you have a kid between the ages of 3 and 8? Well, guess what? I wrote a children's book called Who Says Pooh? And it's a funny read aloud children's book about words in different languages that sound phonetically like the English word poo. Let's read a page. Pulito is an Italian word that means clean or neat. Sally's room is pulito and her dad is happy. He doesn't know that she's put everything in her closet. Uh-oh. Your kid will love it and learn about other cultures. Buying a book today helps support my channel. And also, you'd brighten up my day a whole bunch. Link is in the description. Now back to the video. But what I don't like is the locking mechanism. So right now I have the file out, which this file isn't very good, unfortunately, but that's besides the point. I have the file out. It's locked pretty good. Okay. With a little bit of effort, sometimes I can override that lock on some of the tools. Another thing about the locking mechanism is sometimes you can push in on this to unlock it, right? But to push on this now is difficult. I'll break my nail. I don't know if you can see that. I'll break my nail doing that. So the only way to get this guy out is by opening up another tool and putting it there. And now you heard a little snap there. And that's actually something that happens sometimes because another way of unlocking is by lifting this up slightly. And then if you can see, that disengages that and I can close it there. But if I'm not careful, sometimes when you're just trying to take a tool open, you can actually end up taking that out. So this knife has actually cut me in the past, and actually just as I was getting ready to review here, it cut me again. So that's why I have it out as soon as the video started. Sometimes when you click it in there, right? Sometimes it makes that weird click sound, and sometimes it can get stuck and you try to push it forward and you can also get, again, hit by the knife. So there's small little tiny issues revolving around the locking of the tool. Unfortunately, it's hard to show you a great example of it, but right now we have this guy in there, and this lock side is actually pretty good. Now, I can push down on the tools there to unlock it. Well, not right now, apparently. Oh, there we go. And I was able to unlock it by pushing on the tools there. Again, you can lift this up to unlock it. But, okay, so right here, you have to engage this, and it wants to click out to get there. There's just little finicky things here, like I feel very unsafe trying to close this guy because I'm going to, you know, I do this to disengage that. Now I have to, I guess, do that. I don't know. I just always feel like I'm going to cut myself with any of the sharp implements. Okay, and this leads to the modularity of this particular tool being a problem. I think there's lots of really good aspects of the modularity, but unfortunately, just because of how finicky they can be, it is a little scary to use some of these implements, you know? Here's the saw, locks pretty good. I can push down on this, not right now actually. Sometimes, there you go. See, I can push down that if I open up the other side and I can get this to close safely, right? I wish there was a mechanism that I could push easily to unlock this so I could safely put them down without having to bring any tools up. Another quick thing I'll talk about is some of the tools are hard to get out without taking other tools out. So just now I pulled out this guy and you can't actually get your finger there, okay? You have to, see what I mean? Like this little slot, when it's right here, it wants to go inward like this, so you can't close it sometimes. But anyways, back to what I was saying. You can't grab this very reliably because there's not enough of a little loop there. So some people have modified it and with a file so that you can get your fingernail in there. But I just feel like that, unfortunately, is a missed opportunity. And then finally, the wire cutters on these guys suck because there's just not enough space. You know, there's tons of coverage over what's wrong with this tool, but depending on what you like and don't like about this tool, there's plenty of reasons why you should or shouldn't buy this tool, but there's one huge reasons why you should buy a Goat Multitool. It's because they listen to their customers and they'll adapt and change over time to serve their customers. Since this tool has come out, the person who made this has listened so much. They're constantly developing new tools that you can buy that are extra. I'm certain that they're probably designing version 2 because of how many little issues they had with their first version. That's because they're a small business who's literally owned and operated by just one person. As much as I love Leatherman and I use one almost daily, they ultimately don't care enough to listen to their customers' design requests, and they'll likely never make a modular multi-tool. I like the concept of this tool. I like how it feels. I like that there's no sharp pain points. There's so many great things about this, but unfortunately, because the mechanism is so fiddly, it just misses the mark. You know, if you're not careful when you're dealing with a sharp object here and the lock system is fiddly and you're trying to go fast or, you know, anything like that, you will likely cut yourself. And hopefully in a version 2, they sort out the fiddliness of the modularity locking systems thing that they're using. Okay? But again, remember, by buying this, you're supporting a small business that listens, and you're sending a message to larger companies that were tired of being ignored. I was hoping for a tool that was polished and had no issues whatsoever, which, you know, it's a foolish thing for me to hope for, as this was a first tool by a single person company. There was bound to be issues, and what I think is amazing is how one person created this. They had an idea, they put in the work, they made it happen, and the world needs more of that. You know, the world needs more goat tools. I know I had some mixed feelings on this tool, and to see some of my other mixed feelings for other tools, check out this video where I talk about the Leatherman warranty process. Thanks for watching.